summer to winter, whatever, is quite a concern about how this is going to affect the baby's immunity. In Britain, we don't worry about this so much. But I think because we have such weird weather anyway, maybe. But the only time we get concerned about it more is from the summer into the autumn. But mainly because of, I think with older children, because we always notice that children that go to school, nursery school, sort of, primary school, the younger children, sort of under 10, when they go back to school in the autumn term, they always seem to end up with coughs and colds and viruses and things up until Christmas, and then it seems to fizzle out a bit afterwards. So that's the only time that we really think about it, and we know they're all going to get coughs and colds because they've spent the summer at home, they've been out in the fresh air and running around, they're really healthy. They go back to school, meet all their friends, and they meet new germs. So all these germs come in, so you're quite likely to have there's lots of other children around who will be bringing germs back in that respect. So the thing to do is, if the baby's breastfed, it is entirely covered by the mother's breast milk, and so we don't really need to add much to it. If the baby's being formula fed, the formula does give us a lot of cover. It's got lots of added vitamins and things like that do help towards it. But what's important is lactoferrin is a very important thing in we have that in the breast milk, and that helps with immunity, to build up immunity, and in the body of the baby. But in breast milk, you don't get as much as that. And also, when the child gets older, if it goes on to just dairy milk or anything like that, there is hardly anything. So it's important. It's quite important to try and keep this level up as well. So it's the same with everything, really. I think and give them, for the bottle fed and the formula fed and the breastfed baby, we don't need to be too concerned because they are getting quite a fortified diet. But as they get older and they start to wean, they're having less of that. So we need to make sure that the foods they have all the vitamins we need in them. So they need to have a good selection of protein, carbohydrates, vegetables and things like that have all the different nutrients, like all the different vitamins and protein, carbohydrate and everything else in them that can keep the body strong and healthy. So it's important, like I said earlier, to mix the diet, make sure they have a wide range of things so they can get all these, not just keep giving them the same vegetables over and over again. So to try and get them to eat lots and lots of different things, and actually introducing them early, the child will eat better later on. The more you introduce when they're tiny, when they're getting used to their food, the more they'll eat when they're older, so you'll have less problems with fussy eaters later. We have to be really careful with how we behave in front of a child when a child's being difficult or naughty or having a problem with something, because a lot of it is down to our own emotion. Because if we lash out or shout, that's our emotion coming out, nothing to do with what the child's done. And the child might have done something that's dangerous, but if we overreact, like be careful, shout or something like that, the child's going to react in quite a strange way to it, and next time they do something like that, they're going to be quite alarmed by it and not do it again. That's because we've lost control at that time of the situation and shown our own emotion to the child. So we just have to be really careful how we do that. So if the child does something wrong, it's better to stay as calm as you can and talk gently and carefully to the child. And often it works to sort of talk slightly quieter than usual, so in a very quiet voice, because then the child has to listen. So if a child's being naughty and shouting and bawling, and you talk to it very quietly, it will eventually stop shouting and screaming or whatever and start to listen to you. But also get down onto their level, so you're on their eye level with them. Get down on the floor, or sit down so you can look at them too, to talk to them when they're having a problem with something or crying or whatever.